All right, it's Monday morning, and here we are with Notes from Spirit. I'm Ann White. I am the founder of the Creating Calm Network and a co-host of Notes from Spirit with Nadya Rubin Schubert. Nadya, good morning.
Good Monday Memorial morning.
That's
It's
right.
so beautiful. It's so beautiful that I really I am encouraged to just allow myself to relax and enjoy the beauty of this area right now.
Perfect. And let us never forget those who serve to give us that freedom to sit in our beautiful homes. And you'll notice that Nadya has a little more light today. Interesting. I showed her some kind of lights we could use. I have one light. So this is what one. She has two. So it's still kind of, eerie there. I think her house is a little bit haunted because when she sneezed before going on the air, the lights lit up. So go figure. But anyway, at least you don't look like we're coming from the dark of Transylvania. Nadya channels spirit. For those of you who are just tuning in, and I'm being silly today, but she is a spirit scribe. She goes into a trance, almost a complete trance, I would say, and writes this through automatic writing. So Nadya, even I was reading some of the words here, I know that they are not your words. So when you come out of this trance, how long does it take you to get a writing like this?
And it's from the beginning to the end, beginning, middle, and end. And then I pull, they seem to pull back, or the energy pulls back away from me, and I slowly open my eyes. But I have to sit there for a while because my system has slowed down too.
So it's about 20 minutes when you're in there, do you think?
Yeah, about 20 minutes, totally. That's including my affirmation to set me up to go in. It's more or less like thanking them and surrounding myself and surrounding my house, kind of protection prayers. And because when I'm in, I have to be protected. And then going in to do the writing and then coming out and resting for a couple of minutes before I get up. Basically, that's it.
And Nadya, for this writing this week, you asked something. Sometimes you just go in and write and see what you get. But before or during your affirmations, you were sort of asking Spirit for certain direction. Do you want to give us a setup for this writing?
I did. Normally, I never ask anything. I just write what comes through. And this time, I asked them to kind of show me how they live where they live and how they communicate with us in simplistic terms that we can understand, and the fact that they mentioned, they don't speak in words, so they have to convert the energy into words that we could understand. And something like that came through, which is really interesting. I'm always impressed and surprised that they actually listen. They are listening to us all the time. I just feel guilty asking them for something because I think it's an honor to be able to do what I do, but this time I asked, and here it is.
Right, because oftentimes if you are pondering a question in your mind, or if you and I have had a discussion, or if you're having a discussion with someone else, the writing will be pertinent to what has happened to you in the week or something like that. But this time you actually asked for some direction. And the question that I'm going to ask as we go in, and we'll talk about at the end, is who is this writing for? Because at the very end, it gave me a little twist. I thought I knew all the way through, and then there was a twist at the end. So we'll talk about that as we finish the writing. But if you want to go ahead and start the writing, let's just begin.
What is this all about, these writings we bring to you? How do you feel when you read the writing? How do you feel the writings? How do you feel with those around you? I'm sorry. How do you feel those around you are feeling when they read the writings? Are the writings for you, or are they for you and all those around you? Do you share how you feel when you read the writings? Do you discuss them with those around you at any time, or not at all? Have you ever given thought as to whether or not your life has improved on a daily basis, or just in general? And has it helped you to help others feel better in their lives? Have you ever felt the urge to help others in their lives? These writings are not meant to be kept hidden away, for they are energy fields of light brought to you by those who live in the light and are sharing their energies so that you may feel in the smallest of ways how different your outlook on life can be once you receive the vibration. and allow it to be felt by you and thought about by you and then shared by you, simply by how you connect with people and how well you adjust to change. We know that change, whether what you consider bad or good, can affect you in many ways. And yet how you are affected not only affects you, it affects all those around you. Bringing these writings to you as often as we can allows you to better receive what your day brings to you, as you will become closer to the knowing in its simplest form. For even in the simplest of forms comes the magnificence of feeling a difference and making a difference. We are a group of higher energies whose thought is only for your highest good and are able to deliver the tools for you to use to achieve your higher awareness. We come from a long line of energy fields through the centuries, layers and layers of energy fields that have amassed an abundance of layers of energy that we have chosen from and put into words for your education, your awareness. We have come together to deliver the messages that you are most needing for your best interests. We have consolidated bits and pieces of our energy field and coagulated them into words that form sentences so that you may understand and identify with what you feel when you read the writing. For it is mostly about feeling and sensing. In our world, that is what we do. We sense, and from our senses can feel, hear, touch, smell, see, in our own particular way. We do not use words as you do in your world, yet we still have the ability to remember how words are used, and hence have followed a pattern with this writer to deliver them to you in as soft and gentle way as possible for you to feel comfortable. We are strongly motivated to be in your lives as teachers of a sort, using our classroom of energy waves to show you how beautiful and joyful your lives can be once you begin to tune in to our form of blackboard and chalk to write on it. For what we are doing is writing the words that enter your thoughts in a different way than looking at your blackboard and books. We are asking you to open your mind to feeling the sense of all that you read that we write, and begin to be aware that there are more opportunities than you imagined to live with the light, your higher awareness, and that once you feel comfortable overall, the words we write will become a part of your life. And as we continue to teach, your school will become your day-to-day living instead of your traditional schoolroom. Your education will become a walking, talking, and sensing real-life experience each and every day, beginning with the basics and graduating with the cap of the knowing. You will be your only report card, filled with the grades you place in it based on where you feel you are. For you will be working with yourself as your teacher, using your higher consciousness from within, outward, with no other instruction needed. Once you begin to trust in yourselves, you will no longer need someone to tell you where you are at, for you will know not only where you are at, you will know where you are going, and will begin to understand that you are always moving forward, progressing in a productive and positive manner. Yes, life is good, bad, ugly, beautiful, and on and on and on. Once you begin to understand that these things are the basket of the knowing that you will begin to embrace, you will no longer look at anything in the same way again. We look forward to continuing our writers with this writer, who you call Nadya, and connecting with you all.
See, it's that last line. We look forward to continuing our writings with this writer, who you call Nadya, and continuing with you all. So when we began the writing, it seemed like they were talking to you, Nadya, and asking questions, and answering your questions. But about halfway through, they say,
Right.
and hence we have followed a pattern with this writer to deliver them to you in a soft, and so I think they're talking to all of us, saying that they're working with you, Nadya, this writer, to bring the message to all. So it was an interesting twist. At what point did you see the twist?
Just now, because I didn't read it before, but boy, this is a great writing. I mean, this is amazing. Really, truly amazing. I'm really excited, but I wanted to control myself. But this is a
Aren't
really
you glad we have this show so that she can finally read the writings?
I think two things happen here. I have new guides who are addressing me as the writer, which has never been done before. I've never been the writer. I've always been my name.
Mm-hmm.
And also to tell you that they are definitely working through me to reach out to the world. That it's coming through me to reach out to the world.
Yeah.
And it's a good thing. I like the fact that they talk about sensing. I like the fact that they talk about the layers of energy fields. Amassed is a word I've never used that I can remember.
Coagulate.
Coagulate. How often do you use coagulate? The word hence is an old world English kind of name or word. So these are the little keys they put into the writing for me to open up and say, wow, I know I didn't write it myself because they put these words in there and I don't use them. And they do that in a lot of the writings, just to let me know, don't doubt what you're getting. Don't even think about it because it's really coming from us. And the fact that they don't use words, but that they were able to compile a mass of energy to formulate words for us to understand.
Right.
And someone asked me, well, what if you don't speak English? I said, then they'll come to you through your language.
Right. And that's why I like the word coagulate, because they're giving us an image of you have all this light energy, and that's what they work on, the vibrational energy. But to bring it to words for us, it's got to amass. And coagulate is a good way to look at how they bring the energy in to make word forms that you can hear.
And as they can do when they do aura fields, when they do, position themselves to be some form of a structure or a form of a silhouette of a person. I know people might think that's strange, but they can do the same thing by taking the energy and coagulating it into a form that they want you to see. So they're doing the same thing with the words. I mean, I never realized that. I mean, I never asked them how they do it until the other day. So it's pretty special writing.
Oh, it is. I like how, too, they start with, these writings are for you, or are they for you and to all those around you? So, they play back and forth, and then to this writer, and then finally our writings with this writer who you call Nadya, and are connected with all of you. So I thought it was a good introduction, really. And does it feel, how long do you think you've had new spirit guides? And is it only on Sundays? Because I know you channel on Sundays and Thursdays, but I have sensed in the Sunday writings that they're more basic in a way of explaining what they do so everybody can understand.
Maybe they're going back to the basics, because in my first book it was very simple. People understood what they were reading because it was hidden behind a little story. And so it was gentle and it wasn't overbearing in any way. Now we've graduated through the years, especially on your program, of going through some very in-depth, strongly written, and I think that they have gone past that now, backed up a little to something softer, gentler, and also reminding us how it works so that you get the idea of how it works and know that when it comes through, if it's dense or if it's strong or if it's light, it is coming from them, and that there's a reason that the writing is coming through. This is a writing to teach you. Other writings are to give you information about the world or what's going on in the world.
Don't you like how they try to bring it into our world with talking about the blackboard and the chalk and the graduating with the cap of the knowing?
That was beautiful. The cap of the knowing. I could just see that little tassel with a little thing hanging. Knowing, knowing, knowing. Really, that's amazing. This is a great writing. I'm going to hold this out too, and it's one that I carry with me.
And Nadia, I think today, and I promise to do it today because I'm not darting off to catch a plane, I will put this on your Facebook page, and it's A Note from Spirit. The other one is up there as well, and so you don't have to go through all the posts. Anybody who would like to see this writing or another previous writing that was very explanatory to what they're doing, it's under the sections called Notes. So right along the top where you have friends, photos, there's a section called Notes. And I think this is a good one to put there as well.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Nadia, why do you feel that you have different guides? You mentioned that you think that the guides are changing. What's that feeling?
I don't think they're all changing, but I think as I continue growing and working with them, it brings in more energy fields of guides. It brings in more people simply by maybe, oh, that's a pretty mug, Ann. Is that from that little shop in the little town that you went to?
Okay,
that's beautiful.
Cedarburg, and it's a pottery shop in Cedarburg.
Oh, we got to go there. That's beautiful. Anyway, I think that it's like when we talk and when we're through. And through the day, sometimes things that we talk about start coming through in different ways. Or it's almost like we think about things even before the show, and then in the show we talk about them. And sometimes we don't even realize that we were thinking about them, but our thoughts are similar about something. I think you do that. You call them in, even, you think about a person, and all of a sudden the day after that the phone rings, or you meet them on the street. It's an energy connection to what is out there. And if it's meant for you to heal it or to see it, just to confirm that they're listening, they will show you. They will show you through very little subtle ways where you don't even think about it. And that's another thing I'd like them to know. They would appreciate it when you do feel that it's connecting from Spirit, to thank them, because they like to be validated.
Yeah.
But truly, I think it's real simple. Energy fields connect with energy fields. I asked a question, they answered me.
Right, and partly, and what Nadia is saying, and we need to realize this, we are energy fields. We are just dense, coagulated, sounds kind of squeamish for who we are, but we are a denser, and Spirit refers to us as being in the material form. But really, we're moving energy vibrations. So as an energy field, we are connected to all other energy fields. We're connected to the world around us. We're connected to each other, and we are connected to Spirit. And I think one of the key things we need to remember is, although Nadia has the gift, and some days I'm sure it doesn't feel like a gift, of being a spirit scribe, going into this trance and writing, all of us still have that connection. I would love to be able to do automatic writing, I think, but it's not my gift. It's maybe not your gift. But Spirit is with us all, and by opening up and feeling and getting that knowing, we are really directed. And then when we see something, it's going to be in the form of meeting somebody who gives us the information, seeing a billboard, a book falling and opening to the right page. There's so many ways that Spirit can give us the nudge that we either ignore because we're too busy, or we think, oh, that's just a coincidence that I've seen that 3 times in a row in the last 15 minutes. But don't you think that, Nadia, that part of these writings are really to let us know that how to feel it, that it's a feeling that will come to us in ways that we will, if we're open, understand. And that's why they call it a knowing.
I especially think that this will hit up to people that are having certain situations in their life, and they're going to read into this, wow, this is something that I'm doing right now. How did they know that? I mean, it's just that little second. How did they know that? How did they know that? Because they're always around you. And these writings not only will affect you, it will affect a lot of people around you or other people that you don't even know, because we're all in the same boat. We all have the same desires, feelings, hopes, dreams, whatever you want to call it. I mean, we are all living life in the material world. So this really is an essay of learning what they do and how they do it, feeling comfortable with it, and you too can go in quietly one day and ask them, if you are around me, who are you? And ask them if they could help you, if you want to learn something through them or want to better your life in some way. And you can do that once, twice, 10 times a day. It doesn't make any difference. Do it for a day or two. See what happens. See what the signs are that could come into your life that may not have come into your life before. And then, like I said, thank them, because the more you thank them and validate them, the more they're going to come in, and they will help you. That's what they're for. These are guides of higher awareness. These are not things you have to be afraid of. There's no dark side to them. They are higher awareness guides, only out to help you to come into your own higher awareness.
And for those of you with a more religious background, think of it as guardian angels. I don't think the label makes the difference. It's the fact that we have spirit guides, beings who want our highest good. I wrote a book called Living with Spirit Energy, and I used an acronym for how to get in touch with spirit when Nadya was saying to go in. If you think of the word spirit, S is to just stop, to be still. P is to do your protection prayers, like Nadya says she does her affirmations. So it's a way of wrapping yourself in a prayer in the divine light and asking that only energy for your highest good comes in. I is to invite. And you'll see that Nadya invites spirits in, just by going in and doing her affirmations. So she suggests, too, that you invite them in and let them know what you like. R is to receive that information, so to be able to hold it. I, then, is to initiate. Take the step into it, because it's easier for spirit to move a moving object than if you're just stuck. So go with the flow. And then T is thank them or trust in spirit. So use that spirit acronym if you wanted to go in and think about it. But the other thing is, even if you never go in to think about it, just be aware of coincidences. That's your miracle right there. Be open to miracles. So that's my little blurb on connecting with spirit.
And that is true. I mean, there's something very simple. When you go in, you could just say, I surround myself with the white light of my spirit guides, or whatever word you want to give it, so that only good shall enter my aura. Saying it 4 or 5 times. And then allowing yourself to rest and ask them, is there some way I can do this in a different way that works better? Whatever the words are, become energy. They become a vibration of energy. And those vibrations of energy will go out there into the universe of energy and connect to something that has an answer for you that will come through. And sometimes it'll come through in a very simple way that you're not expecting. Or there are people that can sit down and maybe not do it the way I do, but they will write. They can take a quiet time in the morning, a pad of paper and pen, do your affirmations, your protection prayers, and then ask them to come to you with whatever it is you may need, and just sit there and just start writing whatever comes through without questioning or judging the writing. Just write it, and you'll start seeing a pattern where you will receive information. And at first it might seem silly and not even make any sense. But if you do it a couple of times a week or 10 minutes every day, whatever you want to do, it starts making sense. And that's how I started. And that's how people I know have started. They just sat down and started writing. So it's kind of like semi-conscious writing, because you're already in a zone when you get to that point that you're writing. Look at all the books you wrote that were more or less directed by the energy fields of spirit. Right. When you were ready to write and you asked them, and here came, what, 5 or 6 books?
Well, really, Living with Spirit Energy is the only one that was really directed. And I struggled and wrote that book myself, but every time I would get stuck, I would get this knowing download, and I knew and could write the whole thing. So that book was written amazingly, because there are books I've written for over a year. That book was written in 18 days, from start to finish, in the perfect order. And that acronym I gave you on spirit, I remember trying to work it out, Nadya, you've heard the story. I was coming up with things like acorn and just weird acronyms, and all of a sudden I felt this laughing all around me. My spirit guides were just cracking up, and then all of a sudden it downloaded spirit, and with each one of the letters, and I could just feel them thinking, oh, she finally got it. Dumb blonde, dumb blonde. So I think my spirit guides just have a great sense of humor, and they like to watch me figure things out. But they're there, and I can almost feel the high fives when I get it. So we all have different relationships, I think, with our spirit guides.
Well, you have a very lucrative brain. I mean, you can see things and write down the most beautiful flowing words. Maybe they come to me like this because I can't do it that way, so they just take control and they write the words. I might go off in 10 different directions, and sometimes it won't make any sense at all. So they put it together and say, okay, fine, this is the way we're going to work with you. Just let us do it. Okay?
Yeah. And you know, for one of our teachers, and if you're interested in working with this teacher, you can go to Nadya Schubert's website or contact Nadya Schubert on her A Note from Spirit page. But this woman's name is Vicki White, no relation to me. And she would have you go, when I work with her, into a meditation and then see what you would see. Sometimes there'd be colors, sometimes shapes, sometimes flashes of light. Sometimes you see faces. Sometimes it's a movie. But and so if you see this and need a teacher, Vicki White is an excellent teacher. For me lately and for years, I don't see anything, but I see the action when I'm done. So I think my meditation is a way of just connecting, and then when I go into the world, I see how it falls in place. I'm open for that knowing to look for the answers, because they're all there. So I will watch the life unfold, and that's how I know it works. So it works for us all in different ways, very different ways.
Trip the light, fantastic.
Yeah, there you go, trip the light.
I wanted to make a comment before we leave that. When I was 10 years old, and I was interested in this, and nobody else was, there was 1 or 2 books available, mostly through Kubler-Ross, Elizabeth Kubler-Ross. On death and dying, what happens, where do you go, and on and on, and when you come back, what did you see, that kind of thing. Now there's thousands of books out there on this. You just have to pick and choose what feels comfortable for you. I mean, one may not be right for one, but perfect for another. And it really is all going to have something to do with the vibration that you're on, that you're going to feel comfortable with whatever book you like. And that's okay too. But there's so many out there now. It's such a wonderful world to be able to expand and explore your life, if that's a subject of interest for you.
Right. And also, though, they give us another hint that everything we need is within us, and that by opening up to spirit, we will receive all that we need, and that is sort of our wisdom right there. That's a big chunk of information, but it's beautiful, and I think it is so true. We look for answers oftentimes outside of ourselves, and I'm a reader, so I'm not poo-pooing what you just said, Nadya. But it's also that we also have the answers if we open up and trust our intuition and trust that connection to our spirit guides.
And this is a world of instant gratification, so we want it right away. And sometimes that's why we don't get it. I mean, we ask for something. If it doesn't come right away, we go on to something else. And with spirit, it could take some time to come through, but you work into a form of a pattern where they work with you in a certain way, and that's the way they'll continue working, and you get more and more information a little more quickly. But it takes time. It takes practice, and it takes time. But once you get there, it's a beautiful world.
And sometimes our answers are not in the way we expected. Sometimes we get brought to our knees. I've been humbled. I've been brought to my knees. And then all of a sudden I'll see how things unfold afterwards. I think, oh yeah, that was it, in that sense. And I think you too had a life experience where your whole life collapsed. But from then it rebirthed in such a beautiful way, almost like the phoenix. Every now and then we need to be brought to ashes to see the beauty of what's all around us. So who
learn to appreciate the beauty, I agree with you, that you never saw before.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Nadya, for bringing this note, and I promise to go put it right on A Note from Spirit on Facebook. And also, if you love these kind of readings, I would suggest you go to Amazon.com, and there are 3 books out. The most recent is similar to this kind of writing, and it's called Notes from Spirit, available in ebook and paperback. The 2 earlier ones are gentle, they're more of a story, they're kind of prosy poetry, but I think Spirit is getting Nadya used to receiving and tying into real life. And so they are called We Are With You, Always With Love, and We Are Truth, We Are Love, We Are You. And in the middle, I think Nadya has about 13 other books that are not put together in book form yet, because these have been such compelling writings. We've gone to the current writings and this show, but just know that she's been doing this now for maybe 13, 14 years. So there's a whole treasure trove of spirit writings for you to play with and get the feel of. So Nadya, thank you for doing what you're doing.
My pleasure.
And it's nice to see you in a little more light.
Isn't it? If you work in the light, you should be seen in the light, right?
That's right, that's right. And maybe you could sneeze again and have the lights pop up like you did. That was pretty cool. Just before we went on the air, there was an explosion of light when she sneezed.
Yeah. Thank you, Anne.
Yeah, and if you'd like to see a collection of her work too on these videos, you'll find them at Nadya, N-A-D-Y-A .creatingcalmnetwork.com. So take care, go out and play, have a beautiful, beautiful week, and we will see you next Monday. Bye-bye.
Bye.